welcome to another roleplay review, and this time I'm going to run over the roleplay Back in the Black. This one's going to be, our characters are Samantha, Zophie, and Jamie. The type is dialogue. Slice of life, the arc is from The Lord of Blackway, Pepper City, maybe? And the synopsis of this one is that Saliath bails Zophie out of jail following his battle with Cornell. And the two admins of Crimson Industries take a stroll through Pepper City discussing the current events and the exciting and dangerous proposal about how to get the company back in the black. Hence the song. At a bistro, they encounter their newest employee, Jamie, and dive a little deeper into her role in Crimson. There we go. So, hi everyone. This log, as with most slice of life logs, doesn't really have a lot in the log itself that I can really discuss, that I can really go over, that I can really talk about. The synopsis pretty much covers everything. So this is right after Deck the Malls, and Zophie and Cornell pretty much flattened a mall in Pepper City. And at the end of that, Zophie gets arrested and is taken away to jail, and this is the aftermath of that. And yeah, like it says, Saliath gets him out. They then go to a bistro, but before that, they actually go to a clothing boutique, it seems. Saliath's personal tailor, maybe. And Zophie gets some new threads. Gets himself looking the part as part owner of Crimson Industries, and then they go out to eat, and they meet Jamie, and they have a proposal. Now, that was a very quick synopsis, because again, with these slice of lives, there's not a lot there that I can say directly to the role players, like, hey, this is what you need to work on, this is what I saw that kind of needs to be changed or thought about or anything like that. But what this log does, and why I wanted to do a video review for this one versus just writing out my thoughts, is because my thoughts are never really that succinct and concise, and usually takes me explaining with the sound of my voice over and over again so that they don't come off as cold and direct. But let's just start off with it. So I think the one major thing that we need to look at is with Saliath in particular. After coming off of the Luxoria conflict, sorry, I keep wanting to say complex, but it's conflict. And Pepper City kind of never really being in the mainstay is a lot of Zantetsu attacks or metahuman attacks. Now that they are, and this is kind of like the second one within a 6-month span, I think there's some story that could be told there. I think that if you wanted to use it in the background, and pretty much everything that I'm going to recommend is just if you guys want to use it, just kind of like my thoughts of where, as a admin, I thought, there's a story that could be told there. And I think this one with Saliath would be that, like, maybe there's an actual uprising, right? Maybe this is the thing that kind of makes it a little difficult for Saliath to deal with, is in the court of public opinion, how do people feel about him being at the forefront of a major battle and attack? And while he was the one to save the day, kind of like with One Punch Man, like, yeah, you saved the day, but you also did a lot of damage to it, right? And maybe people aren't as grateful for that. I think that there's a story that could be told there. This could be something for, honestly, someone like Fusen to pick up. And maybe there's a follower of Fusen's that says, like, maybe Fusen was right. Maybe we don't need metahumans. And now that this is someone who is on Crimson Industries board, it might be being seen more affiliated with it. Maybe he can't just kind of bankroll his way in and save his friend. I mean, I don't want to get too real life and too political with it, but we currently have an issue with people kind of flexing their money and political power to get away from their due process, right? Zofu did everything that these people are blaming him for. And I know it's roleplay, it's DVI, right? It's nothing serious, but I feel like there could be a story there. There could be something to be said of like, just because you did all these great things doesn't mean that you can just, flash your checkbook and make everything that they did go away. Because for whatever reason, Zofu wanted to get himself, I won't say he wanted to get himself, but, the writer put it to where he went to jail. And, there could be consequences from it. I'm not saying that there should be. I'm not saying that, like, I'm going to be the one that's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to come up with this NPC and they're going to, they're going to go after him. But, there's a story that could be told there. And I think that would be an interesting way to look at it, especially with, with Jamie being the newest member of them. Maybe that's a job for Jamie, is that there's this uprising of people. They are, not metahumans, but Jamie's only tier 1. A gang full of Starless or people who are trying to come up with like technology to put down these metas. That might be something that she needs to take care of. That's all I really thought about, while I was kind of reading through this. And, maybe some people get a little upset that he just kind of waltzed in there, was like, hey, my name's Saliath, he's a friend of mine, let's get him out, And the other thing that I will say about the log itself and about the words that are on page was that while Zofu was in jail, he wasn't just sitting in jail, right? Like, they pretty much gave him the same treatment that they gave Fusen, where he was, I want to say bound and gagged, but he kind of was, because, mage and, words having power. And there was even, like, kind of behind him in his cell, there was one person who was, had their head, like, stuffed into his toilet. But we get to see, that Zofu is, messed up. For those that don't know, like, Zofu's missing an eye, he's missing an arm. His one hand is now missing more digits, and he's, you always want to imagine Zofu as like this half, almost dead looking person, who is so full of spunk and vigor, like he's almost like a living zombie. He's been through so much. And then they go to the Spider Silk, and they're kind of talking about Varus Corp, and I really am interested about these guys, right? They're seemingly like the bad version of Crimson Industries, right? Like they're the antithesis to Crimson. They are the opposite of them, and for better or for worse, they're kind of like the villain that will have to be dealt with later on. And Zofu is kind of like, make friends with the demons that you can live with. Like you can't kind of beat everyone. You can't run everything. And if they serve a purpose, then it's kind of like, it's better to work with the devil you know than not with the devil you don't, right? And I think he even says that at one point. And, Saliath is right to kind of have that, I won't say complex, but kind of have that, like, what happened to Jamie because of Luxoria kind of is my fault, and I should look after them. And at the same time, like, while that's true, like, Jamie also is their own person, so maybe that's another thing that they need to kind of shore up. Kind of like the same with Jean, with, like, her family back in the day, when they addressed everything on Hydia. Like, this might be something that Jamie has to deal with, or I'm sorry, Jaime may have to deal with a little bit later. And what was the other part? And okay, yes. Then we talk about the dragon hunt. And let me back up for those that don't know. This post happened on December 14th. So as of recording this, like we're coming up on like 3 weeks since this was even before the rule happened. So I can see where Zofu kind of had this dragon hunt in mind. And for the longest time, right, I've been trying to figure out what Zofu is. And what do I mean by that? What is Zofu in context of DBI? I am an admin, I'm looking at this character, and he always feels different. He always feels off. And I think today I finally figured out what it is. And relax, Lux, it's not a bad thing, right? This is not something that needs to change. This is not anything that is affecting of the character. But what makes Zofu, I guess, different is Zofu really on page reads like a DM character. And forgive me if I've said this before in the past. I have a terrible memory, so I may have. But yeah, they just on page come off as the DM character. So what does that mean? The DM character in most D&D campaigns is like, okay, we have a party of 3, we need at least 4 to, get through some pretty major battles. So I'm gonna have a character in there just to kind of like help move the story along and to even things out. And that's exactly what a DM character kind of does. They are the one that is the informant for everybody. They have, knowledge kind of beyond what normal player knowledge is, and they are the ones that move the story forward to give you a more, I guess, real DM character that we've seen in fiction. Gandalf, I would say, is a DM character. Especially, I would say more so in like The Hobbit than in The Lord of the Rings, but like definitely in The Lord of the Rings, where they're the one who kind of gets the mission going and knows more about things in the background to then give the heroes direction, right? And that's exactly what Zofu is, like, especially in this particular log, to where there comes to a point when they're talking about a dragon that they want to kill on Konats. And kill the dragon, take its hoard. That is an idea. And that's Zofu's idea to get Crimson back in the black, right? That is the whole, coming around to the title, that is the whole plan that they've had and the idea that they've had. And it's a sound idea, it's, hey, you need to get capital, and you can go kill this dragon and take its hoard. Very standard, like Dungeons and Dragons kind of ordeal. And I'm very curious to see how this plans out. If anybody survives Vera. So the only, I won't say thing, I will say this. The only thing that I wish was that instead of this coming from Zofu, this came from somebody else. And maybe somewhere in these Minas Mordred logs, we figure out that Zofu figures out that he needs this mirror, because that's what he wants. Like, there's a mirror that Zofu wants that this dragon has, and it's pretty much like, he's like, you can take literally everything else. And, that says a lot, because Blacklay also could use capital. And from the way that this sounds, it's more in line with kind of like their currency, I would say, but maybe not. But, like this hoard, it sounds like it's a massive amount of money, right? But all Zofu wants is this artifact that's a part of it, a mirror that they say, to restore themselves. And with that, it's like, okay. So yes, as I said earlier in this log, Zofu is torn up. They've got a whole bunch missing, and they want to restore themselves and they want to use this mirror. Okay. How did they come about that, right? Like, that's my question, and I guess that's a reader question, not an admin question, but a reader. As somebody who's just reading what's on page, where's the text that led him to get to this answer, right? Because this is a pretty big thing that he wants to do. I mean, of all the things that can probably do something like that, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, we have the Dragon Balls that can grant any wish. So we've all seen that, right? We've all seen that happen. It would be more common knowledge than that. This is something a little more specific. This is something a little bit more particular. And even Jaime is like, hey, like, you're going to go kill like an actual dragon. And it's like, we don't see those. We don't know about those. And I think, and again, I'm not saying that this needs to happen. I'm just throwing it out there. I think if Zofu wants to feel like an actual player character, they need to also have something that need to overcome, and that could have been it, right? Again, it's probably in Minas Mordred somewhere, because there's like 6 logs that I got to read through, so it probably is in there. But again, as of reading this log, that would just be the question, and I'm hoping that it's in there. I'm hoping that I have a question and I have an idea, and that I'm rewarded for kind of following. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants that. When you read something and you as the reader, you're kind of putting pieces together. You want to be rewarded for being right. So I'm hoping that's the payoff, right? And what I'm really, really hoping, this would just be a personal thing. This would make me feel so great, is that they go through all of this and they get there and they beat the dragon. Treasure's all there. Mirror is not. Right? And it's like, oh, damn it. Like it would feel damning to me to be like, damn, we went through all that and it's not here. And I feel something special inside me to like see Zofu's reaction to that. Of like, I was so sure that this was going to be the answer, and it's not here. And just to see like now what, right? I think that, and I can't explain why, right? I can't explain why I would want that mission to fail. We don't even, like, they haven't even talked about this, because now Sal's and Jaime are planning on going to Vera and all this stuff. So we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm sorry that it took me so long to get this, but it was the holidays, and anyway. So yeah, I'm hoping that we get to see this dragon hunt. I'm curious about how this tale and this adventure will go. I hope that Jaime gets to go. I thought the Rock the Dragon joke was on point and absolutely hilarious. And yeah, I have rambled on for a pretty long time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you around next time.